Babak Emamian is still here with us as we talk about Europe. Gary Kasparov, obviously no fan of Russia, saying that Europe has misjudged Russia. But Kasparov and Landberg in their article saying that the EU was designed for peace times, but now much of the world is at war. Do you think Europe is structurally unprepared for the threats of today's world?
Well, I read the article. I couldn't work out what he meant. Does he mean we have to be at constant war with everyone? Or does he mean that we have to have a strong military in Europe in order to resolve conflicts? Because as President Trump says, peace through strength, which means resolving conflicts, not actually confrontation. That's the whole idea. But if you look at Europe, they have no plan for peace or no plan for war. And that's why they keep coming up with these naive ideas, confrontation. What does that mean? Are we also going to go at war with each other within Europe? I mean, France and Germany, or France and United Kingdom, or so. What does this confrontation? Is the way forward for the entire Europe, for its prosperity, constant confrontation? No, that's not the case. The case is you would have a strong military strength in order to resolve conflicts. And because the Europeans are not prepared to pay the cost for resolving conflicts, which you need financially to be committed, emotionally to be committed, military to be committed, they haven't been there, whether it's in Pakistan and India, Thailand and Cambodia, whether Rwanda and Congo, in Gaza and other places. So that's the weakness of Europe. They have no plan what they want to be.
And of course, NATO remains EU's defense backbone. There are some countries that pay, I think, just about the amount that they're supposed to pay at the moment. Most countries in NATO now saying that they will move up to 5%. It seems unrealistic that they're ever going to get there, to be honest. I don't know your view on that. But do you think that it's time that the EU countries started to take defense spending more seriously?
Well, as far as NATO is concerned, because Europe is not united, so now NATO is Europe's foreign policy. NATO is Europe's defense policy, because Europeans are not united. And the reason why they're not united, because there's a lack of leadership. There are a lot of young, inexperienced leaders in European countries, and most of them are in those positions of influence and power because of diversity rather than meritocracy. So issue we have right now. And the reason, because most of European leaders are from left of politics, and people from left of politics are more concerned about fringe policies than peace and prosperity and economic policies. As I mentioned, even with the Labour Party in Britain, there is hardly any intellectualism when it comes to global trade and international trade. You hardly see them talk about how to bring in foreign investment in the United Kingdom, how to copy President Trump. There's hardly that aspect. Actually, they go against him and they say, no, that's a wrong policy. We have to go opposite to what President Trump is doing.
There's been a lot of disquiet in the EU about Ursula von der Leyen's visit to Scotland to see Donald Trump and what she got out of that, a worse deal than Keir Starmer managed to get for the UK. Some embarrassment in some of the member states of the EU. What is your view on how they handled the negotiation with President Trump on tariffs?
Well, I think first of all, it took a hostile position towards President Trump. And if you remember, even the foreign secretary for EU at the beginning of President Trump presidency, second-term presidency, she said we need a new leader for the free world. That's the amount of hostility, the beginning of second term of President Trump from the EU politicians. So you may say, okay, these are politicians. They should get over this. No, they have its impact on people. And the other thing is over-regulation and other issues, which the EU has not sorted out yet. They're high regulated. Now they needed to do this, and more importantly, they needed to do for themselves to deregulate. So President Trump was an excuse for the EU to deregulate itself rather than doing it because they were giving in to President Trump.
And of course, that brings us to unanimity or the calls for the EU to stop making decisions as one bloc. But if that happened, wouldn't that be the end of the EU? But of course, there are internal divisions as well, especially when you have actors like Viktor Orban in Hungary.
Well, Europe is different from the United States. The United States is a very young, 250 years old as a country, and they're a country of immigrants. So people in United States, they don't carry any baggages. If you look at Europe, it's over 2,000 years. Countries have developed, and there's lots of local grudges, and a lot of local cultures, local traditions, history, lots of history. So this idea of, oh, you could forget about the history of these small countries or larger countries or the bad local grudges. No, it doesn't work like that. You actually have to accept there is that reality on the ground and address it. It's not going to be a problem as long as you appreciate the reality on the ground and address those issues.
So when it comes to your view and being pro-deregulation, you must have been profoundly upset at the United Kingdom leaving the European Union, which would that force more regulation or enable the UK to deregulate more?
You're right. I was very upset because I could see we need lots of skilled labor coming into Britain. We need them, and by restriction, that means we were replacing the skilled labor from Europe, from outside Europe, going to subcontinent of India or Asia or Africa, which are fine. But having European migrant labor is more beneficial because they are more closer culturally, and also they are more local. So there would be lots of travel between the countries, between here and go. They would not stay here for long. But if you are traveling as far away from Asia or Africa, once you are here, you stay for much longer. So there is that issue that nobody thought it through properly, that this is what is going through. And that's what happens when a policy is not thought through properly. That's what it fails. There was no definition, exact definition to Brexit. That's why it has failed.
And when it comes to the population of the United Kingdom, going back to the UK, there is a very strong racist element which says we don't want foreigners here. When is a leader in the United Kingdom going to turn around to the population of the UK and say, actually, we need immigration. Our country needs it for any growth and any economic success?
Right now, I cannot see it because most of them are weak leaders. They're not strong leaders, and they don't want to act to people. They just want to get their votes, and they will say anything just to win their votes and to have to win a position in politics. They don't seriously are concerned about the future of the country. They're more concerned about their own future than the country.
And going back to the EU then, of course, will they ever change? Will there be any change? I mean, trying to get 27 member states to agree on anything is trying to get a super tanker to turn, I guess. What do you foresee for the future of the EU in the coming few years?
I think EU should shift from left of politics more to the right of politics, that like what is happening in Italy, and other countries should follow. And the more EU moves to the right of politics, the more chance it has to survive in the longer term. But if it stays on the left of politics, it would collapse under sheer force of too much politics. There is too much politics. Everything is political right now in EU. So you have to get rid of politics. Decisions have to be made instantly, not through political committees all the time.
And if you look at a country like Poland, of course, you have the centrist leader of the prime minister in Donald Tusk. And then we've just had the right-wing president elected. What does that say about a country like Poland, which is always quite a good country to look at if you're looking at a European country, to show you how other countries might be?
Well, right-of politics is about low taxes and is about economic growth. Left-of politics is about high taxes and low economic growth. So you could understand why people vote for the right-of politics. But sometimes left-of politics promises too much, and people fall for it. Because there is that portion of any society that they have no ambition, and all they look forward is how much benefit they can get from a government. There is that portion of, in United Kingdom, it's as much as almost 50%. In United States, it's about 20%. So it changes that portion of society. That's a reality of life, by the way. That portion of society that has no ambition anymore, has given up, and all it looks forward is to states providing benefits. But that portion has also a right to vote. And they, first of all, that portion hardly pays any taxes. So they have no problem with taxing people who earn more in order for them to have more benefits. That problem with Western liberal democracy right now.
But you wouldn't take away their vote, though, would you? We're not going there. We're not going that far.
I don't know. I mean, that could be a debate. I mean, we could have a debate on that. I mean, how could you have representation
the more tax you pay, the more votes you get, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, we're just out of time.
And the other way around, why should you have representation if you're not contributing nothing?
Okay, well, unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but let's pick that up next time. It's been a wonderful discussion. Babak Emamian, thank you very much for joining us here on Q News. Now, as war reshapes the global order, Europe faces a hard truth. If it cannot defend itself, it may not survive in its current form. From Starmer's struggles in London to the European Union's existential debate in Brussels, leadership is being redefined not by vision, but by urgency. The West's political projects are no longer just about progress, they're about endurance, it seems. Join us next time on In Focus. Good night.